Hello, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon. I'm Sunil. I'm a youth coordinator at ASPBAE. And on the behalf of all the youths, members, and ASPBAE, I warmly welcome everyone to this meeting. Today, we are celebrating International Youth Day. We are celebrating talents, passions, knowledge, hopes, aspirations of young people. We are celebrating their narratives, which are coming from margins and informing and shaping our discussions and discourse at the center. Today, on this occasion, we are also launching our regional report on the futures of education. We are very happy to have all of you in this celebration and launching this report. Yes, we are celebrating voices, diversity, resilience, and the collective power of young people. We are doing these celebrations by amplifying the voices of marginalized youth, which are sometimes unheard or otherwise pushed on the margins. But in today's event, our youth representatives who come from from 6 different countries who have been engaged in youth consultations of marginalized young people, they will bring these narratives to the forefront by sharing their analysis of current education context and by discussing the recommendations which have come from young people, which will help us redefining, reshaping, and reimagining our better collective futures. As you know, this event is co-organized by ASPBAE and its 6 members from India, Nepal, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Timor-Leste, and Vietnam. We are very glad to have this common platform where intergenerative dialogues and actions can take place. Just to briefly introduce, from December 2020 until April this year, ASPBAE and its members participated in UNESCO's Futures of Education initiative. Our youth partners came forward for reflecting on current education context and for visioning the new futures of education. In respective countries, our members had engaged diverse marginalized young people in the creative and informative consultations, which were further documented and compiled in the report. In April, the synthesis report of these various consultations was submitted to the International Commissions for the Futures of Education. And today, we are launching the regional compiled report for all of us to learn and to use these insights and knowledge to guide us in our actions and practice. We are very happy to see such a good response in terms of participation in today's celebration. We have 112 participants joining this meeting here. And just to mention, this meeting is also live streamed on 7 different Facebook pages. So we have many more young people and mentors and partners joining from live streaming option. This meeting is joined by many community youth organizations, mentors, ASPBAE members. Happy to note that our member organizations and coalitions from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Cambodia, Myanmar, Malaysia, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Timor-Leste, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Vanuatu, Lao PDR, Solomon Islands, Australia, and New Zealand have joined today. I'm sorry if I have missed any other country here, but the overwhelming response from all the countries is really touching. We also have ASPBAE's President Nani with us, our Executive Council members, and of course, ASPBAE staff and colleagues in this meeting. Also, our invited guest speakers, Professor Kim, Ms. Ushio Miura, and Dr. Ethel have also joined this meeting, and they will be interacting with us after the presentations of the youth. This meeting will last for around 2.5 hours, and we will try to make this meeting engaging and a learning experience for all. We do have visual presentations and discussions, so please be tuned. We definitely want to make this discussions interactive, so we want your responses, comments in the chat box. Please feel free to write in your regional languages in the chat box, and someone from your country or an interpreter can translate that to us so that we can listen to your voices. Let me share program flow of the today's event now. So we are at the agenda 1, where we are welcoming everyone, introductions and objectives. After this, I will invite young people to sing for us and start this enriching discussion. After the song, I will also invite ASPBAE President Nani Zulminarni for her welcoming remarks. After Nani, Shraddha Koirala from NC Nepal will also share her reflections on futures of education and its significance on the regional context. After Shraddha's presentations, we will dive deep into the presentations of young people, where they will share their analysis and also recommendations on the futures of education. These sections will be moderated by Vishal from Philippines, and young people, youth speakers from 6 different countries will take us through all the discussions, consultations. After the presentation, we will together launch our regional reports and in-country reports. And we are very happy to have all of you with us for this launch today. We, as mentioned, we have guest speakers. And after the launching of the report, we will have interactions with our guest speakers. Thea Soriano, from Program and Operations Coordinator ASPBAE, she will moderate this session. Our Secretary General, Ms. Helen Dabu, she will give us closing remarks, and we will close today's event with group photo and songs from young people. So this was this is a flow of our today's event and the agenda. We will try to ensure we keep the program in time. So, okay, so that is the start of the day, but definitely the start will not happen with the energy, without the energy of young people. And without further delay, now I share the space with Yatra. She's a young researcher from Sri Lanka, and she will sing a song for us. Yatra, over to you.
Hello, good morning all. වෙනස් විදියට හිතන්න අලුත් මාවත් දකින්න ජීවිතේ දිනන්න පරණ ලෝකෙන් මිදෙන්න මේ අලුත් කාලයයි මේ අලුත් පරපුරයි රටක් නගන අනාගතයේ රාවයයි வித்தியாசமாயின் உங்கள் புதிய பாதை காணுங்கள் வாழ்க்கையில் வெல்லுங்கள் பழைய உலகை மாற்றுங்கள் ගොඩනැගිලි මං මාවත් තනන හැටි ගැන අහන්න තවත් අලුත් නිපැයුම් කරන දවසක් දකින්න සිනාසත්කාරයෙන් මුළු ලොවක සින්දිනන්න තාක්ෂණයෙන් අනාගතයක් දිනන දැනුමක් ලබන්න புதிய காலம் இது புதிய தலைமுறை இது நாட்டுக்கு எதிர்கால குரலிது 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 காலையாய் மேலுத் பரப்புரை அநாகத்தையே ராவையாய் 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 ராவையாய். Thank you all.
Thank you, Yatra. We also have another song from Philippines. Michael is going to sing for us. Let me invite Michael if he is on the call. If he's not, he, as alternative, he has also shared his video. Internet connectivity is still a barrier for all of us. Hi, Vishal. Okay, I see hand raised there. Can we have Michael's video, please?
Every color, every hue is presented by the man. Take it slow, take a look at the kaleidoscope, hang around, make it round in this kaleidoscope. Some bad, some are left, some leave lonely, no better half. Others grieve, but others curse. Others mourn behind big curse. Some are pure, and some are bad. Some are sober, and some are wasted. Some are rich because of faith. Some are poor with no golden flake. Something down. And blend. Some are fun where others been. Some are friends and some are foes. Some have some more. Yeah. Every color, every hue, presented by you and me and you. Take a slide in the slow. The kaleidoscope spin around, make it whirl. And this kaleidoscope world, yeah. Every color, every presented by me and you. Take a slide in the slow. Take a look in the kaleidoscope, spin around, make it whirl. In this kaleidoscope world.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Yatra. Thank you, Michael. They are the young singers from two different countries, but isn't it music and art and culture connect us beyond the borders? And to listen and understand music and songs, we do not necessarily need to understand the language of that particular country. They connect us. And here is the community of us who are here to celebrate our talents, our diversity, and our knowledge. Okay, on that energetic note, I want to invite Miss Nani Zulminarmi. Nani is a space president and director of PECA, which is a community empowerment organization in the Indonesia. Nani is also Ashoka Southeast Asia leader, and for many years she has been gender activist and visionary leader for various grassroots empowerment programs in Indonesia. We are very happy to have Nani to celebrate this day with us. I share this space with Nani now.
Thank, thank you, Sunil. It's beautiful and powerful songs, Yatra and Michael. Great energy to start our event today. Thank you. Professor Don Yon Kim, members of International Commission for Futures of Education, Usio Miura, Program Specialist at the UNESCO's Bangkok Office, Asia and Pacific Regional Bureau for Education, Dr. Itel Agnes Pascua Valenzuela, Director of CMO Secretariat, ASPBAE's Executive Council members, Helen Debu, the Secretary General of ASPBAE, ASPBAE's Executive, ASPBAE Strategic Partners and Network, staffs, ASPBAE's members, and the youth leaders from the region. Happy International Youth Day 2021 and warm welcome to online celebration of International Youth Day with ASPBAE's Futures of Education. Today, ASPBAE and its members are honored to launch the regional report and amplify the voices of youth at regional level. We are living in a new world, whereas the past was defined largely by repetition. Our world today is defined by exponential change and interconnections. This is new global reality is affecting every aspect of our lives. The World Economic Forum predicts that in the next 5 years, at least 40% of core skills required for every single job will change. By the end of those 5 years, machines will be doing as much work as humans. 84% of employers are digitizing their work processes. McKinsey and Company estimates that in the next 3 years, up to 44% of the workforce will transition to permanent remote work. Unfortunately, the rapid pace of change in our world has also created a serious divide. In recent decades, income inequality has increased in nearly every country in the world. Today, the richest 1% of the global populations own 44% of the world's wealth. This figure is expected to reach 56% by 2030. 88% of the global population does not have internet access. As our reliance on technology continues to increase, the digital divide is exacerbating the new inequality. This rapidly worsening inequality is creating an increasingly polarized world. In the meantime, wildfires, record extreme temperatures, and severe hurricanes in different parts of the globe are demonstrating the increasingly disruptive effects of global warming. Globally, the number of floods has quadrupled since 1980, and the number of acres burned by wildfires has increased each year since 1985. And the COVID-19 pandemic has transformed our world even more, disrupting every aspect of our lives and highlighting our global interconnectedness. While the crisis has amplified pre-existing problems and disproportionately affected vulnerable populations, it has also created an opportunity for systemic change. For example, online and hybrid learning have become the norm for over 1.2 billion students around the world. There is a growing belief that learning can happen anywhere. At the same time, many students and parents are reimagining the education system. And in all over the world, young people, youth resist, organize, and building their movement. Youth activists have harnessed the power of social media to amplify social movement and protests, including the March for Our Lives protests and the global climate strike, just for a few examples. Young people, who are 1/3 of the population, are our hope. So we need to change, particularly in defining success for young people. All around us, we see evidence that we now live in a world of accelerating change, volatility, and hyperconnectivity. Yet, society around the world continue to focus on an old idea that success for young people means being ready for a stable job. However, in a world defined by change, no one can afford to build a life around repetition anymore. So instead, everyone must be a contributor, be an active player, and be a change maker who takes action to address a problem, activate others, and work towards solution for good for all. And for young people, finding one's inner power to create change and lead to a lifetime of change making. Society needs to redefine what success means so that every young person can grow with this power. If everyone felt the confidence and capability to create positive change, we would live in a much more equitable, healthier, and happier world. In this historic moment, it is time for a big change, which requires a big movement. It's time for everyone a change maker movement. It's time to let youth in charge. The Asia South Pacific Association for Basic and Adult Education, ASPBAE, strongly committed to fostering the role of the youth in informing the education agenda at the global, regional, and national level. Through its work with its member, ASPBAE has been able to connect with and support youth groups and young people from diverse marginalized communities in various countries in the Asia Pacific region to lead the change maker movement and to be in charge. Happy International Youth Day, everyone. Thank you for your attention. Back to you, Sunil.
Thanks, Nani, for those inspiring words. Yes, definitely. Even today, we are celebrating the strength and opportunities and possibilities of young people. We cannot deny that the world is full of inequalities, and there are less opportunities and access available for marginalized young people. We do need to come together and support the processes which will enable our young people to take their agencies and also lead the change. Thank you for those inspiring words. We are very happy to celebrate this International Youth Day with all of you. At this moment, I also want to invite Shraddha Koirala to share the significance of today's celebration and today's discussions from the regional perspective. Shraddha Koirala is NCE youth leader. She's also youth representative in ASPBAE youth core team and representative from our region to the GPE board. Shraddha, over to you.
Thank you, Sunil, for that introduction. I would like to say Happy International Youth Day to everyone present here and listening to us through the live stream. Today, we youths are not just sharing your story. We have gathered here to speak because we genuinely believe that our stories today can awaken everyone present here to act for the futures of education. The education system that we want, the system that our younger brothers and sisters want to be for their future. Let us just imagine a child in our region who grows up never seeing a real school. And it's not that imagination, it's a bitter reality. We have seen children who give up hope and then start dropping out from grade 5 or 6, girls who are becoming mother at an age of 12 years, or a child who grew up selling a tea in the school canteen but never got chance to sit in the classroom and learn in the same school. So all of their stories are completely different than ours. The education system, the curriculum, the language that they require, or the environment that they hope is completely different, and thus they do not feel that their future is secured through education. But still, these children have now grown up to become the youth, and they have now determination to build a better world. They want to fight for making a school and place for hopes and dreams of the future, because every child deserves a good education. And that's where we young people feel the need to listen the voices of all the youth from the marginalized community. So the major concern today I would like to share is whose knowledge counts for preparing education plans and policies. How is this knowledge constructed? Does this knowledge include the pain that the marginalized young people experience every day in their learning process? If yes, then why are those data of out of school children increasing and in fact rapidly increasing in this COVID scenario? So we young people, we just want to say it's really enough now. Integrate the planning process, listening to the stories of marginalized youth. Count us in the planning and implementation process. And that's where comes ASPBAE's contribution to Futures for Education initiative, where marginalized young people from 6 different countries shouted out loudly upon the futures of education that they envision for. So there was a national and sub-national consultation in 6 countries, and the marginalized youth came up with their specific vision for education that they envision for 2050. And this was not just a consultation, really, believe me. You took it as a platform to share their experience and learning and use it to design for the education to their next generation so that the stories that we are hearing today doesn't get repeated in the future. So our friend, colleague Vishal will take us through the next session where we will be sharing about the progress of our consultation report, the findings, or what are the outcomes. So back to you, Sunil.
Thanks, Shraddha. Your analysis and current situation, your point about the situation of marginalized youth, their challenges, and the need for sustainable actions, I think it is loud and clear. Thank you for setting that solid context for the discussions of our presentations. This is the time where we go into the discussions and presentations. I invite Vishal to moderate this session.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you, Shraddha. Hello, everyone. I'm Vishal Yumuya. I'm 22 from the Philippines. My pronouns are she, them, and I will be your moderator in this session where we will be discussing and listen to our amazing young people from India, Timor-Leste, Sri Lanka, Philippines, Nepal, and Vietnam. So first of all, I want to greet everyone a happy International Youth Day. Can I have some reactions in the Zoom button or in Facebook Live? Some hearts, claps, likes, or any reactions. There you go. I see some hearts and claps there. Thank you so much. So for today, our youth speakers are Yen, Jose, Shraddha, Shubangi, Rashmita, Nitin, Rosana, and Nguyen Ngokan, who will be discussing the recommendations from our regional report, From the Margins to the Center, Youth Shaping the Futures of Education. So now I welcome Yen from the Philippines to start the presentation of the report. So thank you and see you again later.
So, hello everyone. I hope all is well and happy International Youth Day. I am Yan from the Philippines and I am here to give you a brief overview of this presentation. From the margins to the center, youth shaping the futures of education. Okay, next slide please. Thank you. Asia South Pacific Association for Basic and Adult Education, or ASPBAE, works with its members. A regional network of more than 200 CSOs and individuals operating in around 30 countries of the Asia Pacific. This is a collaborative effort from youth members of ASPBAE Media for Development in India, Civil Society Education Partnership in Timor-Leste, CED Sri Lanka, INET Philippines, NCE Nepal, and VIPA, or Vietnam Association for Education for All. ASPBAE has been able to link and support young communities and the youth of varied marginalized populations in different Asia Pacific nations via its work with its members. They work towards the right to quality education and transformative and liberating lifelong adult education and learning for all, Lobbies with government so-called education as an empowering tool to combat poverty and all forms of exclusion and discrimination, enable active and meaningful participation in governance, and building a culture of peace and international understanding. ASPBAE supports and works to ensure every individual's right to good quality education and recognizes as essential drivers of sustainable development the fundamental role that lifelong learning and education have. It is also firmly dedicated to strengthening the role of young people at global, regional, and national levels in shaping the education agenda. So, the highlights of youth engagement activities. ASPBAE are working with youth-led organizations, youth organizations in coalitions, and NGOs working with the youth. Kudos to all the young researchers who risked the pandemic to contact or risk throughout the pandemic. Congrats to us, kudos to us. Our efforts in speaking to young people from marginalized areas has provided insight into what young people are experiencing, thinking, and helping the communities. They also exchanges and capacity building with students and youth leaders in youth-led organizations. Youth networking and collaboration on SDG4 and right to education advocacy, facilitating meaningful participation of youth in regional and global education platforms. As these collaborations with the marginalized young people to identify shortcomings and difficulties experienced by the learner via the pandemic COVID-19 has increased owing to changes in education. At this very moment, ASPBAE considers a strategy and action to revitalize frameworks, to rethink access and to act for the future. The chance to engage with ASPBAE's Youth-Led Action Research or YAR partners is regarded as part of the endeavor to conceive and act for common and inclusive education future. ASPBAE's discussion with youth on future goals started with an evaluation of young people's background experiences on their educational journeys. Marking the system's gaps and shortcomings is regarded as blueprints for better future development. The problems raised by young people throughout the workshops underline the need for free, inclusive, and excellent public education with organic knowledge. Instead of being an economic burden and a method to uncover the potential of civic engagement, creativity, and innovation, education is therefore envisioned to be motivatory. And thank you. That's all. I am Rian again from the Philippines. And let me introduce you the next speaker, Joseph from Timor-Leste.
Hello, Jose, are you here in the Zoom?
He lost his connection.
Okay, I can see his screen being spotlighted. Okay, maybe I'll call Sunil.
Okay. Thanks, Vishal. Jose did mention in the chat box that because of heavy rains in their municipalities, he has a weak internet today. We hope that he comes back. Meanwhile, let me fill in for him. Next slide, please. As we mentioned, this is a joint event today, and this initiative was conducted by ASPBAE 6 members. And these are the logos of our 6 members. We had Abhivakti Media for Development member from India, VIFA from Vietnam, we had Innate Philippines from Philippines, NC Nepal, CD from Sri Lanka, and CACP from Timor-Leste. Next slide, please. And these are their descriptions of their work. I'll start with Abhivakti Media for Development. This was founded in 1987. It's a media organizations working to empower grassroots communities using various media and communication strategies. So it's been doing this work with rural communities, specifically coming from marginalized background, tribal, Dalit, adolescent girls from last 33 years. CSEP is an education coalition based in Timor-Leste, working in monitoring, research, and advocacy. They are engaging young people from diverse background who are also a part of YAR program. And as an outcome of a YAR program, they have established a very strong forum of marginalized young people. Currently, they are together and joining this call in center and learning from us. CD Sri Lanka is a coalition of 57 organizations that are actively involved in the education sector at the national, provincial, and local levels in Sri Lanka. We have members from CD Sri Lanka here. Yatra is associated, who sing the first song today. She's associated with CD Sri Lanka. National Coalition of Education, that is NC Nepal, is a national network of 364 member organizations, including international and local NGOs, teachers groups, CSOs, parents groups, youth groups, women's groups in the Nepal. INET Philippines is a national coalition of society organizations which is engaged in policy, advocacy, and partnerships and education reforms, and works with government in the implementation and monitoring the Education for All campaign. And lastly, we have association, WEFA. The association operates nationwide in the field of education and training under the state management of the Ministry of Education and Training and the ministries and branches related to the field operation of the associations from Vietnam. We are very happy to collaborate with all our members in the Futures of Education initiative, and later we will see that along with the regional report, each member will also co-release their in-country reports. Thank you. Over to the next speaker, please. Over to Shraddha. Thanks, Shraddha.
Yeah, thank you, Sunil. So let me take you through how this Future of Education initiative came upon and how we got involved in it. Basically, in year 2015, when ASPBAE was celebrating its 50th anniversary, so there was analysis among different ASPBAE members regarding the emerging context and the role of education. And in the same year, ASPBAE participated in the workshop organized by UNESCO Bangkok called Rethinking Education Through Imagining Future Scenarios. And after the workshop, ASPBAE started to conduct similar conversations with the member organizations regarding the current education context and what could be the future of education. And in the due course, ASPBAE also participated in the discussions within GC, ICAI, and UNESCO on the same issues of rethinking education systems in 2019. And when COVID pandemic started affecting the whole world in 2020, ASPBAE initiated to analyze the impact of COVID-19 on marginalized youth and its member countries. As a result of collective work within member organizations through youth action research that ASPBAE has been doing since 2016, ASPBAE published a report on impact of COVID-19 on marginalized youth, where youth express their concern over growing distance between their educations and between their lives. This struck most among the ASPBAE team, and as part of ASPBAE's commitment for intergenerational voice to inform its work, ASPBAE collaborated with its members and marginalized youth to bring the perspective of diverse youth into its discussions of futures of education. because ASPBAE believes in the belief that changes in the society for young people can be with the young people themselves. And this is where ASPBAE and its members in 6 different countries contributed in the Futures of Education initiatives of UNESCO to give precedence to youth and learners' voice in the formal engagement with education. It was carried out basically to anticipate the probable issues. Next slide, please. It was basically carried out to anticipate the probable issues and concerns of the marginalized youth and collective aspire for purposeful and inclusive education. These initiatives of Futures for Education also aim to explore the possible actions to achieve the imagined futures of education and also address the different contemporary issues across different countries, the anxieties of marginalized youth in the education, as well as also to address their aspirations be in terms of access to their education, fulfillment, or applications of the different knowledge and skills that they acquire through education to their livelihood. So let me quickly take you to how this overall process was done or what we did. Next slide, please. So from the period of December 2020 to March 2021, where different countries, we were having different increasing or decreasing graphs of COVID pandemic effect, a youth member of ASPBAE conducted workshops to reach out and to build space for exchange with the young people from marginalized community. And this was done through the Zoom online platform. There were workshops organized in Timor-Leste, Sri Lanka, Philippines, Nepal, India, and Vietnam. So these basically workshops in 6 different countries was focused to envision education system for 2050 by the youth to anticipate its probable issues, that what are going to be the issues of education in the next years. And then all of the youth, they collectively aspired for purposeful and inclusive education. The workshop also aimed to provide possible actions to achieve these imagined futures for education. So some of the workshops, they were organized on face-to-face modality in some countries, while some were on the virtual depending on the situation of the country. So workshops in all countries were designed so creatively that they could accommodate the expression of gathering of different contexts and also imaginations of different forms of marginalized youth. When we were talking about marginalized youth, the workshop included the youth from disabled, youth from LGBTI communities, different religious, ethnic minorities, geographical minorities, and other minorities, depending on the situation of the countries. So we encouraged young people from marginalized communities to participate, to interact and share their real-time stories, and also imagine what could be the scenario for the next years. So for acknowledging the role of art and creative expression for ensuring the greater inclusion, we used illustration, clay molding, theater, song, poetry, or different forms of games, role play, panel discussions, and also focus group discussions among the youth. And media also was used for the exchange of learning sharing in the workshop. All of the discussions were really very much creative one, and you would be really excited to know about the findings of the overall consultation. I would now like to hand over to Suvangi from India for the further sharing.
Hello, good morning to all. I'm Shubhangi Bagul. I'm from India. And firstly, all Happy Youth International Day. I am working as a facilitator in Abhivakti for Shodhini Participatory Action Research Program. Today, I will be presenting here on significance of youth voices for marginalized community. I shall present this topic in 4 parts. Firstly, when we talk about inclusive education, it is crucial to include those who marginalized, deprived of it, those who are on marginalized. Marginalized are the ones who are deprived. exploited socially, economically, based on caste, class, religion, gender, race, and physical abilities. I come from a tribal community. Despite facing deprivation at many levels, I proudly represent my community, but language is still barrier for me. To be able to raise our voice, to talk about ourselves, we have to speak in English, but I am not good at it. Secondly, often the perspective or analysis of researcher or policymakers working for deprived section entirely missed on their needs. The voices of these marginalized are not mainstreamed. They lack the limelight and as a result cannot cross the periphery. Another important aspect which I would like to highlight is that while we listen to concern of marginalized, it is studied from the lens of the privilege or the majority, considering the views, opinions, need of the marginalized should be equal importance. Even we researchers in concrete, at the end, it will only be from the another's point of view. Therefore, participatory action research gives us two valuable insights from the lives of actual people on margins. Our Shodhini Shodhak study on the issues that affect them and are in a better position in raise their solid voices. Lastly, efforts are being made to bridge the gaps, to bridge this unheard voice to center. ASBAE's initiative are huge contribution in bridging these gaps. Today, we all youth representing 6 countries have gathered here to voice our opinion about educational demands. Our voice have to be given precedence in reimagination of collective thinking and rethinking about education. Thank you, Shubha. Thank you. I call upon Rashmita to approach.
Thank you. From Nepal, working in NC Nepal. All a happy International Youth Day. So till now, we have learned how the youths across 6 countries came together to discuss on the future of education and the importance of listening to the voices of the marginalized youths. In these consultations, the youths had mainly discussed on 2 parts, the current situation in the education system and how they envision the future of education. Here, I would like to present the key points from all the consultations that reflect on the challenges of current education system, mainly the things that are lacking, the inequalities in education, and the issues that need serious attention. The first and foremost thing is the youths lacking access to devices for learning online. Integral part of education due to the pandemic also. Many youths still do not have access to digital learning platforms, and with the schools closed in many regions, they have been left behind in learning altogether. Similarly, the pandemic has also made it difficult for the youngsters to attend classes as they are not only struggling to fight the virus, but it has also impacted them mentally and financially. And the youths, especially from the marginalized communities, have been vulnerable in this entire situation. These youths in rural areas do not get equal opportunities in schools as well. They're often excluded from class activities. There is also discrimination faced by the youths from LGBTQI community. They experience various kinds of bullying and harassment from their peers, as well as the teachers. And this has negatively impacted their education. Teachers, on the other hand, are not familiar with teaching online, which is a crucial part of learning in today's context. They are also often unwilling to adapt themselves as per the changed circumstances. Only a handful of teachers are motivated to learn digital ways of teaching and learning. And for the hearing impaired youths, there is not enough user-friendly digital applications for sign language. This largely affects their ability to learn. And not only them, it is also very difficult for other youths with disability to learn and find appropriate learning materials. Similarly, there is also discrimination among students based on their performance. For performing students are often neglected. And lastly, the modern education curriculum has failed to include local culture and practices into the curriculum. If the students are not taught about these cultures, there is the possibility that it may be erased soon. So that is all. And now I would like to invite Nitin to continue from here.
Hi, Nitin. Yeah, he's there.
I'm Nitin Kailash Tongare. I'm from Kochergaon, a small tribal village of Nashik, India. Yeah, I'm research with Abhyakti.
Can you, yeah, can you shift the slide, please?
We have now the obstacles, but now she shall have a look at a recommendation suggested by the youth through this small video. I call upon Vishal to take this session forward.
Okay. Thank you, Nitin. So thank you to Yan, Sunil, Shraddha, Shubhangi, Rashmita, and Nitin for the comprehensive discussion on the background of the features of education. Now, friends, let's listen to the recommendations gathered by young people on how we can develop a roadmap to reach this envisioned future. So let's welcome Rosana from the Philippines to start discussing our recommended course of actions.
Good morning, everyone. Is my audio audible? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, Rosana.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, rather. I am Rosana Villegas from the Philippines. I am a member of Youth for Nationalism and Democracy, a member organization of Education Network in the Philippines. As we celebrate today, the International Youth Day, we make this more meaningful by pointing out fundamental matters in our education. Because we believe that by addressing these issues and concerns in our education, we can fulfill the fundamental human right of everyone as a way of providing dignity to all humanity. In this framework within ASPBAE and within the youth processes we conducted, we put forward these recommendations to give the youth a fair chance to take part in the social, cultural, and economic life productively. First is that we want to establish networks for marginalized youth members. Reality shows a very high number of young people are battling a never-ending cycle of poverty, lack of education, violence, and human rights abuses that restrict us from our aspirations and prevent us from enhancing our full potentials. Also, the shifts to remote and distance learning has become a challenge for all of us and the youth around the world. Prolonged school closures had brought the students psychosocial issues exacerbated by home quarantine, thus limiting us in our daily mobility within the home setting. That's why it is very important that we continue to build and expand the network to establish connection and collaborations among stakeholders, including community and school-based organizations, to address inequality among marginalized youth and communities. It is therefore the continuation of establishing work and networks for marginalized youth members to ensure a space and a voice to address context-specific issues. This would expand our landscape of education towards building an ecosystem for local communities. We have seen this through the works of so many youth groups within ASPBAE. For instance, the Marginalized Youth Forum was formed in Timor-Leste to advocate for marginalized youth concerns. We have a similar effort such as the youth leaders from Nepal's National Campaign for Education, NCE, were able to convince schools to provide regular and nutritious midday meals for students. In the Philippines and in the region, community work initiated by youth, such as forming organizations, youth response to pandemic to demand access to health and education is growing. We have maximized all spaces to build and strengthen support network systems, offline and online platforms. Second is we organize more capacity programs. Despite the ideas of the youth that might contribute to the development of the country, young people remain to have limited representation in the government, most importantly in policy making, decision making. Our causes are treated as resistance. But despite of all this, we continue organize more capacity building programs for learners and training facilities for upgrading the skills of our teachers. We recommend that the government provide financing support from the state towards identification of differential learning needs of marginalized youth to support their education aspirations. This can be organized at the central or local level from our communities so that we can engage the youth to a more sensitive understanding of our experiences in our education system. This involved identifying everyday markers of discrimination like restrictive gender spaces and uniform, and rethinking equitable education in a more comprehensive manner. Also, providing the space and language for care and support. This can include provisioning of education in sign language, free and accessible care centers for mental health with trained professionals. We are capable of becoming the catalyst of a positive social change in our society. The more people that are engaged and educated to the policy-making advocacies, the more people are engaged in pushing for higher budget allocation, not just for education, but also to other priorities programs, such as health, environment, and disaster risk management. Third, our recommendation for the support the education of students and learners with disabilities, we want to ensure availability of financing and other resources which will guarantee their access to education. This should include greater funding for sign language interpreters to support deaf students, improve education systems. This includes non-formal and community-based learning institutions towards providing stress-free and dynamic learning spaces for diverse young people, inclusive of students and learners with disabilities. And lastly, to grant free, accessible, and inclusive learning. It is not enough to put the youth in school. The state should protect and promote the right of all young people to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make education accessible to all. This means public spending for education should be adequate. The establishment, maintenance, and support of a complete, adequate, and integrated system that makes sure that young people stay and enjoy school, like provision for housing, for food, clothing, physical and mental health of students should be ensured. The state should expand the public provision of school infrastructure and investment in terms of coverage and quality improvement on targeted areas where the need is greatest, for example, for the local areas and urban slums or poor communities. We demand and recommend that there should be an increased support public education with effective planning and increased budget and partnership within non-governmental organizations to increase the reach of the system. Government must ensure effective education policies and sustained education programs appropriate for out-of-school youth. Provide free, accessible, and inclusive learning, not just through institutions, but also by making available resources like libraries, websites, and technological infrastructure. In order to develop comprehensive maps to reach the envisioned futures. Here, what we envisioned in ASPBAE, the youth have presented possible interventions and actions that can be implemented to bridge the discussed gaps in our experiences with the education system. Some of the key recommendations include ensure quality and inclusive digital platforms and online education while making sure that learners and community learners are continuing in their education. Meaning, before implementing the blended learning, we should put premium to achieving the benchmark of the infrastructure to really make blended learning and online learning effective and accessible for all. Thus, colleagues all around this region, altogether, let us make these recommendations come into reality. Let us encourage youth initiatives and community-based actions and cultivate and support massive education awareness. The more young people are educated, the more young people are engaged in the movement, we will have a better future. That's all, and thank you so much for all of you. Now, I will pass the next speaker will be Miss Nguyen Ngoc An from Vietnam.
Hello everyone, my name is Ngọc Anh. I'm from Vietnam. Following the present of the last speaker, firstly, we should ensure the equity and inclusion in digital platforms and online education, while making sure that learners and communities are continually communicating with each other and not working in isolation. For example, the youth express their awareness of the prominence of technology in the future. However, the aspiration for technologies-based learning has come closer since pandemic induced rapid shift to digital education. While digital future may appear inevitable, the youth emphasize the needs of deliberate action towards making digital infrastructure accessible, free, inclusive, and equitable. Smart software and devices that are sensitive to changing needs of the youth with disability are some proposed roles that digital technology can fulfill. Next is we need to allocate sufficient funding for research, respecting the rewarding the work of scientists and researchers to encourage them to continue working in their countries. For example, for young people of marginalized communities in remote areas or groups of learners with special needs, in order to improving education quality, environment, and learning methods, there are creative solutions, useful initiatives from the community or scientists. We need to encourage them to be piloted, recognize, and widely replicate to bring equal access to education for all. The next recommendation is improve education system. This includes non-formal and community-based learning institutions towards providing stress-free and dynamic learning space for diverse young people. For example, a group of LGBTQI+ youth experience discrimination through the course of their education journey, with little or no support from teachers or peers and parents, pushing them into isolation in school and from society. Everyday experience of discrimination will not from discriminatory infrastructure to lack of the sensitivity of education system. This education system is imagined to be more inclusive by 2050, so they would include comprehensive awareness of differences in curriculum among teacher, administration, and sensitive learning environment. So they will have stress-free environment of learning and exchange. This also motivates students to continue learning and provide productive opportunities for young people. We should expand the framework of education to include creative and reflective process. For example, the youth in Timor-Leste illustrate that the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports has established 5 learning centers for 13 municipalities, of which only 2 are active. Young people call for the renewal of curriculum to include more outdoor and extracurriculum activities that allow collective learning, inclusive learning system, like to create an education ecosystem. It's like to create an education ecosystem where knowledge is connected with nature, community, environment, and society participants for sustainable future. Okay, thank you. That's from me, Ngọc Anh from Vietnam. Now to the next speaker.
Hello, Jose. Are you here now?
Hi, Jose. I think Vishal is still facing internet connection. May I request to continue?
Okay. Okay. So Jose is facing some internet connection problem right now, but let's continue with the presentation on the recommendations of young people. Can the tech team pull up the slides again? Thank you. Okay, I can see Jose in the Zoom, but feel free to unmute Jose if ever your internet connection is better. Okay, so I think I'll just like continue discussing the recommendations of young people. Can you go to the next slide? Okay, so create an ecosystem of support in the community that promotes the culture of inclusion, respect, and recognition of different abilities of diverse youth. Because again, the youth is not a homogeneous group. We are diverse. There are young people who are from different sectors. There are indigenous young people, youth from the disability sector, LGBTQ youth, young women and girls. So we are a diverse group with so much power and capabilities. And next is provide financial support from the state towards the identification of different learning needs of the marginalized youth to support their educational aspirations. So this can be organized at the central or federal or local levels, as well as in our community levels. And the next is promote and also protect public education with effective planning, increased budget, and partnership with non-governmental organizations to increase the reach of the system. So this is the partnership between our government and NGOs, CSOs, and even youth organizations for us to reach more young people in the communities. And then lastly is to build education that promotes respect for diversity and inculcates compassion. So I think Jose is here again. He just messaged me. So feel free to add in this recommendation. You can unmute yourself.
Hello, Vishal. Good
Hello.
afternoon from Tim. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you, Jose. Now over to you.
Yeah. In case of my connection is poor, I switch off my camera and I will connect my camera at the end of my speech. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, the continuation of recommendations that the young people raised in the for future education is create an ecosystem of support in the community that promotes the culture of inclusion among the communities, youth, and the neighbors, respect and recognition of different abilities of diverse youth. And the second is provide financial support from the state to the youth education and marginalized and people with disabilities so that they can access to these education opportunities. And promote public education with effective planning, increased budget, and partnership with non-governmental organizations to increase the reach out of the system because the civil society organizations also supporting the education development in the developing countries, like providing non-formal education and training for marginalized youth in different countries. And build education that promotes respect for diversity and inculcates compassion. So thank you. That's the recommendations that I can present at this time. Sorry again for the internet connection is poor.
It's okay. Thank you, Jose. Thank you so much for that. So I hope everyone is taking notes from the recommendations of young people. So again, I just like to reiterate that we must continue to believe that the youth are capable of so many things including becoming the catalyst of positive social changes. So the youth was not seen just as beneficiaries, but agents of the future. So now, in our much awaited event, the launching of the report. So with that, welcome back Sunil to lead this activity.
Thanks, Vishal. Thanks, Jose. Thanks for those presentations. Thank you, especially Vishal, for moderating this session. Of course, friends, now we are at the point where we will together launch our regional report. After launching a regional report, as I mentioned, we have 6 members who will also co-launch their in-country reports. So this is the moment for us to launch it together. And as we are discussing that, these are the recommendation and analysis of the young people done by the young people. And the report documents and discusses these recommendations and sharings in the regional report to shape our collective future inclusion, future education. The education which is inclusive, safe, barrier and stress-free. The education which is based on equity, compassion, and respect for everyone. Before I go forward for launch of the report, I do want all of us to look at the several quotes which have emerged from our 6 members. These are some of the quotes representative of what young people are demanding. These are the quotes in their languages. May I request team to launch our video, which is based on the quotes coming from young people. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video. The video will be shared with all of our partners. We can circulate it and use it in our advocacy work also. These are the voices and quotes from young people coming from 6 different countries. These are just a representative quotes, but there are many more in the regional report. For announcement of this launch of the regional report, I invite Ms. N from Vietnam to do this honor. Okay.
Please find and spotlight Ngọc Anh on screen.
Please spotlight Ms. Han.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ngọc Anh. this is my sign in. I'm from Vietnam, and I have been associated with VAVA, the Vietnam Association Education for All. I know all of you are enjoying this discussion and relating to most of sharing in your communities as well. The recommendations are well articulated by our youth groups and provide deep analysis on the current situation of education of the marginalized groups. There are many more narratives in report which we would like to share with you. The regional report compiles all these. At this point, we are very happy to share the regional report by ASPBAE and its members on the future of education with you all. Let me ask my colleague to launch the report. And let me ask my colleague to launch the report. I'm proud it announced at lunch. Thank you, everyone. And now I give this to my friend from Sri Lanka, Ms. Yasera. Over to you. So I give the space to my friend from Sri Lanka, Ms. Yasera. Over to you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Yatra. I am college student and have been associated with CD Sri Lanka. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to all the youth presenters from India, Nepal, Philippines, Timor-Leste and Vietnam. In these presentations, we were able to see very important and interesting recommendations for shaping our collective future of education. As we know, we all are in a very challenging situation due to the pandemic. However, with the support and firm determination of the youth in all the countries, we were able to successfully complete the Future of Education project. A huge thank you to all the youth partners and their mentors in the respective countries. So now the time has come to launch the in-country reports of Future of Education. So I would like to invite all the presenters to turn on your camera and show your country reports. Thank you and congratulations. Thank you, and over to you, Vichel, to proceed. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Are we going to have a picture, Sunil, with the reports?
Yes.
Okay. I think let's have a picture taking first. Let's invite everyone to turn on their camera and hold a copy of the report. It's okay if you don't have any printed copy or any copy, just wear your best smile so we can have, yes, a copy.
Please spotlight the Ngọc Anh from Vietnam. She's holding the report now.
Okay. Okay. I think we can have a picture in gallery view. Okay. Who's going to take the picture?
The tech team are doing it.
Okay, the tech team are doing. Okay, let's just smile. I think there are many frames here, so let's just smile and hold our report. Okay. Just tell us if it's done. Thank you so much to everyone.
Hold on. There's 6 pages.
Okay. Wow, there are 6 pages and there's a total of 141 participants in the Zoom.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Happy International Youth Day. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay, now let's proceed. Let's continue in the program. Thank you so much. Congratulations to our youth speakers and to every young people in the Zoom meeting or in our Facebook Live. We could not do this without every one of you. So now the floor is open for comments, reactions, feedbacks, shout outs, or anything you want to share with our speakers and young people gathered here today. So you can type your comments in the chat box. I can read them for you. You can also try to unmute yourself if you have any questions. So I'm here in our chat box and there are a lot of gratitudes, sort of gratitudes. So thank you, ASPBAE. Okay. So feel free to type in your comments or anything you want to share. So I guess our young people right now are overwhelmed and we just feel with so much gratitude that we are gathered here today, even though we are, many miles apart, but we're still virtually together and hopefully we can see each other soon when the situation becomes better. So thank you so much. So, okay. So I guess I'll just continue with the program. So if there's any comments or anything you would like to share, just put it in our chat box. So thank you again for everyone's support. Again, the more young people are educated, the more young people are engaged in movements for a better future, because education empowers and education shifts power. So let's remember that this day is about our future, but we cannot do this alone. We need the support of our parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, friends, family, partners, and colleagues. We need an intergenerational support from people around us. So with that, I will now welcome Miss Thea from ASPBAE to introduce our guest speakers from different partner organizations. We are eager to listen to their remarks and sharings. So thank you again to everyone and happy International Youth Day to all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michelle, and thank you to all the young people who have contributed to this very important report on the futures of education. We heard about collaboration, creative, reflective processes. We also acknowledge your ideas about the kind of education that you would like to see, not only in the future, but even at the present. You talk about diversity, ecosystem, governance, and collaboration. Now, Michelle said intergenerational. So allow me to moderate this session, and we have three guest speakers that will give their comments and remarks. The road towards the futures of education is long and complex, and we need fellow travelers, we need partners, we need international collaboration for this futures of education. We are privileged to have with us one of the commissioners of the International Commission on the Futures of Education. We have with us Professor Dr. Do Yen King. He is the president of Pokhang University of Science and Technology. He was the former Minister of Education of the Republic of Korea. He also served as the chair of the National Science and Technology Committee for the government. Dr. Kim's interests lie in the changes that will occur in education and teaching because of advances in information and communication technology. Dr. Kim, we are very happy to see you here. And now the floor is yours to give your remarks to the young people and to every one of us here in this platform. Over to you, Dr. Kim.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, as introduced, my name is Kim, which is most popular in Korea. There are many, many Kims in Korea, and I'm one of them. Well, can I have a permission to use, share screen?
Yes, Professor, you can share your screen.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's not working. Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry, I'm not working. Maybe Sunil, you have my PPT file, right? Then would
Yes,
you?
yes, it is on the screen.
Yes, thank you very much, very much. Yeah, thank you. Well, it is a great pleasure to meet all of you and to hear directly from you about the futures of education. I believe that your recommendations have been already well transferred to UNESCO Committee for the Futures of Education. And well, it is true that the future is belonged to you, young people. However,
Dr. Kim?
about the future, well, when I encounter and think about the future, then it always reminds me what President Abraham Lincoln once said. The best way to predict the future is to create it. That's why I take future prediction and creation as a title of my talk. Okay, please, next slide. Well, the future is unpredictable, and we have to create it. Absolutely true. But it's also true that if we can predict the future, even just a little bit, then it would be very nice for creating our future. That's why we always want to predict the future. Well, it is surprising that, Confucius had taught us how to predict the future. He taught us, study the past if you would define the future. It's really surprising because it was 2,500 years ago. And even surprising is that he talked it in English. Study the past if you would define the future, right? So let us study the past. Next slide, please. The most important aspect of human history, I believe, is population change. Well, as you see in this slide, the number of people in the world was only 0.2 or 0.3 billion when Jesus Christ was born. I mean, 2,000 years ago. It remained practically same up to middle age, but started to slightly increase from 17th century. At the year 1800, it was 0.9 billion, and it became 1.6 billion in 1900. Since then, as you see, the population has increased exponentially. And click, please. Oh, next slide, next one. We are now one of almost 8 billion in the world. Okay, then next slide. Well, then what has happened, particularly during last 200 years? How the population could increase so dramatically? It is simply because the human beings become to live longer in better situation, more food, more clean, and less disease by the development of science and technology. Click, please. We had, as you know, Sir Isaac Newton and James Watt in 17th and 18th century. And click please. And Einstein and Edison in 19th and 20th century. The world has changed by the science and technology, and the recent exponential increase in population means that the changing speed is accelerating. Next slide, please. Therefore, click, please. We can predict our future. We will be living in a rapidly changing world. Click, please. That is again driven by science and technology. Well, next slide. Life is like a ship sailing. Young students are expected to make their own ships in the harbor, maybe. And in sailing, I mean, during life, if the wind is right, you can sail away, no problem. However, the wind will be changed and blow in the opposite direction in stormy weather, I mean, in changing world. Therefore, most important is that you have to have a clear destination for your life journey. If you don't have a concrete destination, no winds can be helpful for your journey. Click, please. And if the wind will not serve, you have to take the oars. Well, next slide. This is what Aristotle taught us for a successful life. First, have a definite objective. Second, have the necessary means to achieve your ends. Particularly, it's wisdom and knowledge. And third, that is also quite important, adjust all your means to that end. Have a passion, I mean. So I'd like to conclude my talk by saying that for the successful creation of your future, you have to have a definite objective. Please click and click. Definite objective, wisdom and knowledge, and passion. Passion is quite important. Click, please. Maybe you're right. Thank you very much. So really, it was very nice and to hear from you, to meet you and to hear from you. And I'd like to thank you again to all of you. Thank you very much.
Kamsahamnida, Professor Kim. Thank you so much. And we know that the Futures of Education report will be launched in November 2021. And we have submitted the regional report coming from ASPBAE in the 6 countries. And we do hope that these ideas of young people are integrated into the international report. Kamsahamnida. Okay, so now we will have another fellow traveler to give her remarks. She has been our companion in our advocacy in many education initiatives. So in community-based education for sustainable development, she has been very supportive of our youth in education work. And of course, she is the one who coordinated the Futures Literacy, the earlier discussions on the Futures Literacy. With us today is Ms. Usho Miura. Usho is the program specialist of UNESCO Bangkok. She coordinates UNESCO's work in promoting education for sustainable development and global citizenship in Asia Pacific, and also the Futures of Education initiative, as I mentioned earlier. Usho has been working with ASPBAE for a long time, and she encouraged us to further have these discussions with young people from marginalized sectors on the futures of education. So Usho, over to you for your remarks. Thank you. Usho, can you unmute yourself? Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Tia, for this kind introduction. I think my server, I'm connecting from home, and my server seems to be kind of weak these days. So if you allow me, may I turn off my video just in case? Sorry about that. Okay, thank you. Yes, my name is, as Tia just introduced me, my name is Usho Miura, and I come from UNESCO Bangkok office. I have been a big fan of ASPBAE's year project over the past years, for many years. And we are very grateful for the very important contributions made by all the young people who are involved in the youth work of ASPBAE. We are also very grateful for the excellent facilitation and coordination provided by ASPBAE to bring these young people's voices out and help them communicate them to UNESCO and the International Commission. As you know, through the Futures of Education initiative, UNESCO has been encouraging and promoting debates and discussions in order to help us reimagine how knowledge and learning can shape the future of humanity and the planet. And we've been asking as many people as possible around the world to contribute to these debates. And for us, not only the number of people joining, but the diversity of voices is very critically important. And in that sense, your work to bring out the voices of youth in marginalized communities is particularly pertinent for this initiative. The diversity of voices is important for us because we recognize that our future is not created by a selected few, but that every one of us on this planet shapes our future, and that there are infinite possibilities of our future, as infinite as the diversity of the presence that we live today on this planet. And that is why the initiative, the Futures of Education initiative, uses the word future in the plural form with an S, futures. Just in an attempt to illustrate my point that every one of us shapes our future, I'd like to show you a short video. This, I am not sure if I'm able to screen it. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I wanted to show this video just to show that how every bird influence each other to make the whole, and all together create the movements and the shapes and velocity and the direction that are ever so dynamic and changing. And this is like these birds, all of us on this planet are continuously creating and shaping our futures together, influence each other, even though we may not always be conscious of it. I think that one of the greatest things about ASPBAE's youth project is that it helps the participants, young people from marginal communities, become conscious of the fact that they're indeed shaping our future, each one of them. Every move they make is shaping our future. And definitely in that sense, all the thoughts and ideas that you have shared and are sharing today are shaping our future as well. And again, thank you so much to all of you for sharing your inputs, your thoughts and ideas. And we look forward to our continuing collaboration to create our future through education and learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Usho. Dr. Kim said that we should create the future. Usho said we should work together towards creating the futures of education. And indeed, it is very important. It's to work across institutions, across countries, and therefore we are very happy to work with UNESCO Bangkok, who has been our partner in the right to education since Education for All. So thank you, Usho. And now we go to our next speaker. And we all know to make things happen, governments are very important. Not just one government, not just two, but many governments. We need their support and their commitment to the futures of education. And one such very important intergovernmental body in Asia Pacific is the Southeast Asia Ministers of Education Organization. This is an organization dedicated to the right to education, where ministries from different countries, from 11 countries, work together towards an agenda. And therefore, we would like to put forward the youth ideas on the futures of education to Simyo. We have with us today to give her remarks is Dr. Ethel Agnes Valenzuela. She is the director of Simyo Secretariat. Ethel is one of our passionate partners, always nimble, always clear, and very substantive in her inputs. Ethel made history by becoming the first woman appointed as director of the Simyo Secretariat. Despite her very busy schedule, Ethel, thank you so much for being with us. And now over to you, Dr. Ethel Valenzuela.
Thank you so much, Thea. I'm trying to share my screen, but I cannot. So I will try again. If not, it's okay. All right.
Yes, please, Ms. Ethel, we've made you co-host.
It's okay. I think it's not working. Anyway, let me share my thoughts on your presentations. I'm really, really excited. Okay, so, well, I came right after two excellent speakers, Professor Kim and Dr. Usho. They're all very respected educators and luminaries in education. But before I start my idea sharing on the futures of education, I would like to acknowledge Madam Nani Sulmin Narni, the president of ASPBAE, Attorney Helen Dabu, who's always helping us as well, represent civil society in the ministries of education whenever we need representation from the civil society, dear partners, the young people that I'm seeing today, friends, thank you for inviting me, and happy International Youth Day. Congratulations to all of you. I'm so proud of your achievements. Actually, it's not very easy to come up with documents, and all those reports, you made it possible. I'm delighted to be able to speak to such an outstanding group of young members of ASPBAE. I'm truly impressed with your recommendations on the futures of education. So I would like to come from the perspective of the Secretariat of the Ministries of Education in 11 member countries. So CIMEO is an intergovernmental organization, and we promote cooperation in education, in science, and in culture. And we work with global and regional organizations to promote SDGs, that is our international agenda, and the rest. And somehow, in many of our programs and activities, we also involve young people. We know that the young people are the driving force of societal development, our society's development, and the future of the world. And your recommendations are on education. And of course, education plays an essential role to lifelong learning development of young people. So your report say that education is a human right, that we should not leave anyone behind, that our schools must be free from stress in all forms, and that we must invest in financing of education, and the schools must be inclusive. These are the same principles that we share from CIMEO side and from Ministries of Education. These are all in our agenda. So in 2015, the Ministries of Education adopted the CIMEO Education Agenda, 7 priority areas. We started with early childhood care and education to make sure that by 2030, we make it really universal. All 5-year-old kids would have access to ECCE and development. The second one is addressing all barriers to inclusion. So addressing barriers, we have to identify them. There are so many disadvantaged and marginalized learners. We talk about girls, we talk about also boys. They're now somehow in the areas where we need to reach out to them, not only in the performance in PISA, in teams, in CPLM, but also in the overall inclusion. Many of them are dropping out to have employment and to help their family. It is also connected to the theme education for all. There are also children with disabilities, youth with disabilities, among other disadvantaged groups. The third priority and agenda of the ministers is on resiliency. In our region, we see a lot of challenges, not just social conflict. There are also challenges brought by the environment. All of these tsunamis or storms and many more, they're very challenging. They wipe out our classrooms. They wipe out the opportunities. So this resiliency in the face of emergency is also in the priority of the ministers, maintaining local community management, training them for education in emergencies. Our fourth agenda is promoting TVET. Now more than ever, skills development for the youth is really important. We should popularize them. We should increase investment on the youth development, especially right now. Many of them are actually not in school. TVET is also hardly hit by this pandemic because many of the classes and courses should be learned inside laboratories. Our fifth agenda is teacher education. We provide capacity building for teachers, improving teaching standards across the region, and making teaching a priority of choice. And sixth one, where youth actually is so much involved, is in higher education harmonization. Shall we say that we promote youth exchange ever since, and that we encourage all countries of the region to have 1 month or more program in another country. So we have already sent over 2,000 students for mobility. During this time of pandemic, we promote virtual mobility. And also on the seventh agenda is adopting 21st century skills. Many of our curriculum needs to be changed or adapted to the current context. So it's clear to us to strengthen our regional growing educational needs. We need radical curricular reform, and the ministers have adopted this agenda. And every year we get a report from the ministries of education. I like all your recommendations. They're really needed, especially reaching out to the disadvantaged and marginalized learners and youth. So your suggestions are the following. Youth network to support disadvantaged groups. We have established a large number of youth network in TVET, in higher education, and even in K-12. And we welcome them in many of our programs. Capacity building. This is the heart of Simeo with our 26 centers, day in and day out, training teachers, education personnel, school heads, and the rest. Financing. Scholarships are provided. Free primary education is our goal, up to higher education and more. But the last one, I think, is really an area where we should improve: youth engagement in policymaking. So as you know, policymakers, they have engaged technical panel of experts in policymaking, representatives from industry, representatives from universities, or other experts. I think it's very good to have youth engagement in policymaking. This is an excellent suggestion. And in your presentations, I was touched with your view of COVID-19. During these unprecedented times, nearly all countries in the world face this issue. Social restriction, urgency to shift to online platform and digitalization, reaching the disadvantaged, and move to online school education. In our internationalization programs were shut off, at least for this pandemic. However, we encourage virtual mobility. In our region, not all have better access to data and, of course, online education. Some have 90% access to online education, even more, but many of our countries are below. Timor-Leste would have 30%, Laos 40%, Myanmar would have 52%, 60% for Cambodia, 70% for Indonesia, Philippines, over 77% and more. This gave them, the ministers, when we gathered them last June, and the 2 Junes already, June 2020 and June 2021, they have developed their COVID-19 responses. So we should know that no one size fits all in this region. Brunei offered assistance for data or a loan for notebook, etc. for Singapore. Other countries cannot do that. They have modular instructions. They adopted fully, home-based learning. The digital divide is really our challenge. But the creation of online, offline, on-air, radio, television classes, blended and modular learning, they were all implemented over the last 18 months. And it's ASAP. They don't have really time to think a lot about it. They implemented right away because of the internet infrastructure. Curriculum adjustment. Many of the member countries have reviewed the curriculum and they tried to choose the most important parts of the curriculum and made it very flexible. Teacher and student readiness, they were prepared. Teachers were trained how to handle online and remote learning, including reaching out to students. So let me add to your brilliant suggestions. I think from the recommendations, I would still add digitalize for resilience. So I know all stakeholders are faced with challenges to maintain educational delivery in the pandemic time. Technology is constantly evolving. We need to add this digital knowledge upskilling in your recommendations. Secondly, to focus also on lifelong learning. Not all can be learned in your own classroom. They can be learned anywhere from the different social media or even television, radio, your friends, your colleagues, they can also teach you. You can upgrade or enhance your skills. And third, on virtual mobility, please continue to have international and regional collaboration, reach out to others. This platform is very nice. It supports that kind of global or regional perspective. So we know young people are the creators of the new normal in this unparalleled uncertainty. And I'm very, very happy that as the new holders of the world, I believe that you will surely enhance your skills, your mindsets to push the boundaries to the possible, limitless. So I wish you a pleasant and joyful International Youth Day. Stay safe and healthy. I'm sorry, I will just be sharing with you my PowerPoint later. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ethel Valenzuela. And rightly so, you pointed out a very important collaboration, which is on engagement of young people in policy development. So we look forward with Simeo, Inotech, and of course, UNESCO Bangkok and the International Commission on Futures of Education of the further engagement of young people in policy and also in the futures of education. Thank you so much, Dr. Ethel. Okay, so young people and colleagues, friends, and partners, we have heard three messages from our partners, international partners. And this is not the end of our discussion. We know that after this launch, we will continue to engage Professor Kim, Dr. Usho, and Dr. Ethel. We will continue to engage them and work with them in realizing the recommendations of young people on the futures of education. At this point, I would like to ask you if any one of you would have a question for Professor Kim or Dr. Ethel, Dr. Usho, anyone from the floor? Would you like to share a reflection or a question or comment?
Hello, how are you? Good afternoon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, can you first introduce yourself, please? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Qais Qasimi. This is Afghanistan. I'm working. I messaged Afghanistan boy. Yeah, roof of society is consistent on their young generation. So should a bit column of society or not? Should we the educationally military the quality of youngers naturally with their cultures and create some social programs. Speakers motivation programs for elementary schools students that they're meant social a bit. We learn to them have a life, that good life, that in future be a trigger bread. Scientists finally be successful and give them shiny future. But in Afghanistan, we have bad word that you youngers killed by that, but case of remake our nationality, we will fight. And we can say that, hey, of these problems, just as scientists, our relation states with word of Iqra that has read name. Sorry. چنانچه ما در فارسی میگیم توانا بود هر که دانا بود. Become.
Okay, Kasemi. Okay, thank you so much for your sharing. We know the situation in Afghanistan is really challenging. It's not challenging, is actually an understatement. There is indeed security problem in Afghanistan, and thank you for being with us here amid all the challenges that you face in Afghanistan. And thank you so much for sharing with us your ideas about education and how it is embedded in providing a better future for young people and all the people in the country. So thank you for that comment. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening to our three speakers. At this point, I would like us to give our appreciation to our three speakers. And we have prepared a certificate for Professor Kim. Professor King Kangsamida, thank you so much. And please accept our digital certificate on behalf of ASPBAE and its members. We thank you for sharing your valuable time and your ideas with us. We look forward to the launch of the Futures of Education report in November. So Dr. Kim, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay. And now we would like also to extend our thanks to Dr. Usho Miura. She has been our fellow traveler for so many years. Usho, thank you so much on behalf of ASPBAE and members. And we wish you well while you are there in your home country, and see you again in our next meeting, Usho.
Thank you very much, Tia. Thank you so much for having me join you today. It's been a great honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Usho. And now, Dr. Ethel Valenzuela, on behalf of ASPBAE and our members, and of course, the young people, and thank you for listening and for the dialogue. Well, thank you for your time. So we offer you this digital certificate, which we will send to you later on. Maraming salamat, Dr. Ethel Pascua Valenzuela. Okay, so now we have three speakers and very inspiring dialogue, and of course in our journey towards education. Yesterday we were in a workshop and we were saying that dialogue and debate is very important to create understanding and collaboration, and we will continue this debate and dialogue and to keep each other reminding ourselves of the work that has to be done. At the country level, we also have a partner, and please give us some more time. In the country, we have UNICEF Philippines as our partner, and it works closely with ENET Philippines. UNICEF Philippines, in the past, we have been working in education in conflict areas way back in 2005 and 2006 and 2009. UNICEF Philippines is also our partner in child rights-based education budget advocacy, ENET Philippines. And ENET Philippines is also working with UNICEF Philippines on promoting juvenile justice. And with us through a video message is Mr. E.C. Feingold. He is the Chief of Education of UNICEF Philippines. So friends, let's listen and watch this video.
On behalf of UNICEF, thank you so much for this kind invitation. And we would like to congratulate ASPBAE and especially Thea and Sunil for leading very important initiative for the Filipino youth. We would like to celebrate today the International Youth Day with the launching of the regional report, Futures of Education, that you have prepared. This is a very special occasion, and we know that the Filipino youth are the hope for this country. Not only the future, but also the present, and we know many different initiatives that are being led by the youth, by adolescents that are transforming this country. UNICEF is a proud partner of the civil society organizations, of the government in empowering the youth. And we are working in different areas to support the development and the empowerment of adolescents. We are working, for example, in education, in the alternative learning system to give a second chance for those who at some point had to drop out formal school, and they are having now another opportunity to finalize their education and have many more opportunities in the future. We are also working on the child protection area, mental health. In this context of COVID-19, this is a crucial area of support. Also, UNICEF works, of course, on health, nutrition, water and sanitation. And we also support local governance. UNICEF has been closely working with government partners to support initiatives led by the youth in 7 priority sites, and particularly the SKs and local chief executives to strengthen their capacity to adaptive governance. These are some of the initiatives that we are supporting, and also we work in different parts of the Philippines and with national government agencies, but an special area of support for UNICEF is the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, BARM. We have a field office there that is working with the BARM ministries and Bangsamoro Youth Commission to strengthen capacity of adolescents and youth knowledge and skills for their protection from radical groups, to amplify their voices to the highest levels, and by introducing the U Report platform to give them an opportunity to participate in the decisions that affect them and further take an active role in peace building and development for their communities and region. Today, more than 8,000 adolescents and young people have signed up as U reporters and participated in several civic engagement activities, capacity building, responding to U report polls, including responses to topics as education, mental health issues, COVID-19 information, and many, many more. So I just wanted to share a few examples of how UNICEF is working with the youth. There are many challenges ahead, and we all need to work together on this. Putting the youth and the adolescent at the center of the decisions, at the center of the table to follow up with them, to follow their lead on what are the key priorities, how we can support them to find the solutions and to overcome the challenges that this country is facing. We are optimistic. We do have very good hopes that adolescents and youth will face a better future, and they will help us in building the better future for all of us. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and please continue enjoying this celebration, and very willing UNICEF to work together in many areas. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, EC, and thank you for emphasizing the need to put the youth at the center of decision making. Thank you so much. And now, happy International Youth Day. I would like to close this session and bring you over to Lei Santiago, who will now share her feedback from the reactions provided to us by the speakers. Over to you, Lei.
Thank you, Thea. Hello, everyone, and happy International Youth Day. On behalf of the ASPBAE Youth Constituency and everyone present, I thank the eminent speakers, Professor Doyon Kim, Ms. Ushio Miura, Dr. Ethel Pascua Valenzuela, and Mr. Izzy Feingold for joining us in celebrating International Youth Day and for sharing words of wisdom and motivation, as well as your initiatives and commitments to support youth and the futures of education. Now, what you have shared today with us demonstrate that there are ongoing efforts to equip youth with skills and values that they need and engage and provide spaces for them, especially youth from diverse marginalized communities, as agents of change to contribute to dialogue on education and learning and how these are being leveraged to build more sustainable and resilient societies now and in the future. And envisaging education that prepares learners to navigate the uncertainties that come with an ever-changing world, we must turn to youth and heed their concerns and recommendations, such as those from today's meeting, as well as the report on From the Margins to the Center, that answer the question, what do young people need to learn and what kind of education do they need today to be prepared for tomorrow? And thank you all once again, and I'd like to give the floor back to Sunil now.
Thank you, Lei. Thank you, all the guest speakers. That was wonderful to listen to you. Thank you for listening to all the recommendations, noting them, and I'm sure you will also integrate them into the existing work. Huge thanks goes to all the young partners and the mentors and our members. Without their participation, contributions, and bringing their energy to this event would not have been so vibrant. This is all possible because of our winning collaborations, and I do believe that we will continue strengthening our solidarity and youth constituency in the region. At this point, I want to invite our Secretary General, Attorney Helen Dabu, to give her closing remarks and inspire us for further processes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sunil. Thank you, everyone, to our speakers and all our participants for staying with us. It's already 3 hours, but I think we still have a good number in this virtual room. Colleagues, let me take a moment to acknowledge the valuable tradition of UNESCO in commissioning a series of global reports to look at the challenges that the future holds and to inspire transformation and offer policy recommendations for education. The first of these reports was entitled Learning to Be, the World of Education Today and Tomorrow, and it was developed in 1971 and between 1971 and 1972 and prepared by a commission chaired by Edgar Faure, a former Prime Minister and Minister of Education of France. And this Learning to Be report, or we popularly call it Faure report, warned of the risks of inequalities and suffering and emphasized the universal features of education. The Faure report called for the continued expansion of education and lifelong learning. Now, in the intervening years, since this first report came about in 1971 and 1972, there were other important global reports produced. Between 1993 to 1996, there's a report produced entitled "Learning: The Treasure Within." And this report emphasized a humanistic approach to education and established the 4 pillars of education, namely learning to be, learning to know, learning to do, and learning to live together. And after that, of course, there are other global reports, but the recent one is in 2015 entitled Rethinking Education. It has been 50 years since 1971 when this first exercise of forward-looking and visioning of education and its transformative impact on society and the planet was initiated. And as we collectively take part in this important process of again defining a vision for education by the year 2050 and beyond, let me reiterate ASPBAE's enduring commitment in its 57-year history to advance the right to education of all to quality basic youth and adult education, and with strong attention to the poor and marginalized groups and communities. We in ASPBAE have been very deliberate in our approach and analytical lenses when it comes to ensuring strong attention to equity, inclusion, and gender in the way we envision the needed transformation in education and how education can transform societies, the people, and the planet's futures. Also, part of our deliberate approach is ensuring an intergenerational voice, and we've heard this throughout this virtual conversation. We ensure an intergenerational voice among ASPBAE's broad-based membership to collectively define and co-create a vision for education. And it is through this intergenerational approach in ASPBAE that we have drawn on the voices of the youth, especially from diverse background, with strong attention to those from the margins, to help us advance a pro-poor and pro-people vision of education, able to contribute in ensuring a more just and sustainable futures for all. The reports which emerged from the country consultations with youth in India, Timor-Leste, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Philippines, and Nepal have been valuable and instructive to all of us. And similar to the warnings issued by the FAURE report 50 years ago, the youth members who took part in these consultative processes of ASPBAE and its members expressed caution against the deepening inequalities not only in education but also in society in general. And while the youth recognize that technology and digitalization will further influence the education landscape now and in the future, especially given the impact of this pandemic, they have also warned against its impact on the mental health and well-being of learners, especially when technology leads to further isolation and disconnect. The weakening of social relations and weak grounding from the economic, social, and political context where learners are located are some of the important touch points in the report, which we hope will be taken up by the International Commission on the Futures of Education. The youth have also cautioned against education privatization and strongly called for financing and strengthening of public education systems. The education visioning will also need to take into account the significant contextual underpinnings not only of the pandemic, but also of the threats posed by climate change and the weakening of democratic systems in the region, in the Asia-Pacific region. 2050 as an important timestamp for the purpose of this visioning exercise is only 30 years away. No, it's only 30 years from now. We hope that the youth members who work with us in this process will continue to actively engage and ensure that the propositions for the future of education that will emerge from this global visioning process will truly benefit the people and the planet. We in ASPBAE are committed to work with the youth and with all our members and partners in continuously influencing and defining a humanistic and transformative vision for education. In closing, I'd like to thank our members who work with us in supporting this process, Abhivyakti Media for Development in India, Civil Society Education Partnership or CSEP in Timor-Leste, CED Sri Lanka, INET Philippines, NCE Nepal, VAFA Vietnam. Thank you so much. And along with these 6 members of ASPBAE, I'd like to acknowledge the valuable contributions of the youth members who collectively informed this process. Their courage and voice is of utmost importance in ASPBAE's work. Sincere thanks, of course, to our excellent panel of speakers, Professor Don Leon Kim, Dr. Usho Miura, and of course, Dr. Ethel Valenzuela. Your reflections in the report from our youth members will further sharpen our analysis and recommendations. Appreciation is accorded as well to our participants, especially from our broad-based ASPBAE members and partners, and of course, from the youth who compose the majority of our participants today. So that's well done. They took away time from their very busy virtual schedules to be with us today. Thank you so much. Thanks to our President, Nani, who offered her inspiring welcome message, and to our EC members who joined us today. Lastly, let me thank the excellent staff team of ASPBAE, especially those who have been working in our youth constituency building programs, Sunil, Teya, Anita, Priyanka, Lay, and all our ASPBAE staff who in their own ways contributed in this process. Thank you, and I wish everyone a happy International Youth Day. May we all have strength and fortitude as we continue to navigate the challenges of the pandemic. Over to you, Sunil.
Thank you, Helen Dabu, for tracing the historical journey of the ASPBAE's contribution of the Future Literacy and the Futures of Education initiative of the UNESCO. This was very, very helpful for understanding and keeping this work into the larger and broader perspective. Thank you for also reaffirming the values, commitment, and the processes of ASPBAE's which are standing for and standing with the marginalized communities. Thank you for always inspiring and guiding us in these processes. We are grateful for this interventions. Thank you again for your excellent succinct summary of the report. I'm sure this will motivate us to access the report and read and utilize the report findings in our work. At this point, let me invite Lei for us for giving instructions about group photos and next section.
Thank you, Ms. Helen and Sunil, and thank you all once again for joining us in celebrating International Youth Day, a day to celebrate formidable young leaders like all of you, committed to creating their desired present and future. It is a rare opportunity to be gathered with over 100 participants, so we shouldn't miss out on documenting this event. If I could request everyone to turn on your video so we can take the customary group photo. We've got quite a number with us today, and we have to go through 5 pages. So please keep your smiles on as we go through all of them and take photos. Thank you, everybody, so much.
Okay, just keep smiling, everyone. Happy International Youth Day. Come on, guys, open your camera.
Yeah, so.
Okay, 1, 2, and 3. We're on the 4th page. 1, 1, 2, 3.
Okay,
Last one. 1, 2, 3. Happy International Day. Happy International Youth Day.
Happy International Day.
Happy International
Thank
Day.
you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Well done, team. Bye.
Thank you, all of you.
Congrats.
Bye-bye.